morning. Sorry for coming a bit late. Uh, for the as regards to network, I know some of you may be facing network challenges and some other things, but today we'll be examining the concept of culture, um, the meaning of culture, the various dimensions of culture, and some basic cultural concepts. In most situations, when we're asked to define culture, people often define it as the total way of life. Please, if you can hear me clearly, because I know some of you may be having network challenges where you are, try as much as possible to indicate if you can hear me clearly, please. Uh, there are various definitions of culture. Each of these definitions is based on the nature and composition of the society we all come from. But something is mostly important. There is culture everywhere in the world. Each societies of the world is characterized by, and let me say, their mode of operation. There is a way every society operates. Therefore, every individual that lives in such societies are expected to abide by the norms and values, traditions, customs that governs or direct or steers the affairs of such societies. Culture is a social heritage and it's a gift to every individual. Uh, Malinowski pointed out that the social heritage of culture has both material and non-material aspect of it. And there is a particular definition given by Edward B. Taylor. A defined culture as that complex whole which comprises of norms, values, beliefs, knowledge, traditions, and every other capabilities acquired by man as a member of the society. We can equally say culture is a sum of total conventional meanings embodied in artifacts, social structure, and symbols. What do we mean by social structure? We are referring to the pattern of behavior in the society. Class, please, if you can hear me clearly, I would like you to signify, please, if you can hear me clearly, because I suspect most people are having network challenges. Please, I would like you to indicate. I've not seen most of the class members online. I don't know what is happening, but I feel it's because of network. It's possible. While we wait for while we wait for other members to join, I can see the people are joining gradually. Okay. So, culture is a very important asset to every society of the world. we should all be proud of our culture. We should be able to showcase what it implies to belong to the societies that we belong. But where is the place of culture today? You ask yourselves these questions. Are those cultural norms and values well embedded in you as an individual? Do you truly understand what it means, what it implies to belong to that society of the world that you belong to? Because the place of culture is gradually fading. We have most people who find it so difficult to uh, comprehend what it means to be who they are. Therefore, the place of culture in the society can never be undermined or should not be undermined. Culture is a total way of life, whether you like it or not, and it secures individuals the satisfaction of let me tell your there is this concept I'm trying to recall. Uh, um, when I remember, I think I'm going to tell you guys. But you will find out that those who understand, please, class, as you listen to me, I will always urge you to let me click likes if possible. When we're about to take our attendance, I will equally tell you how to go about it, please. Compliment my efforts. Now, and if you have questions to ask, you put your question in the comment section. I will always respond immediately I see the question. Culture involves the transmission and acquiring of traditions, as a result of which some of the societies of the world will not function if those things are not present. We have dimensions of culture. Number one dimension of culture is the material dimension of culture. In every culture, there are symbols, there are physical objects, resources, and spaces that people use to define their culture. Therefore, the material aspect of culture implies the physical things that you can see. You can touch them. You can see them clearly with your eyes. But it's not merely by seeing them. You equally understand what those things implies. This includes homes, neighborhoods, cities, schools, churches, synagogues, temples, mosques, offices, and some other stuffs. Let's take, for example, you have a land somewhere that you are trying to locate, and the moment you enter the bush, you see some rugas, like these traditional houses built with mud and grasses on top. You don't need any soothsayer to tell you whether those people are farmers or they are elders or they are. So there are certain physical aspects of culture. Even if you go to some places, it's just like seeing a traditional palace in uh, in Nigeria. There is a way palaces are built. Oh, sorry, there is a way. I don't know. English is keeping. It's not my father's language, so you just have to take it. What I'm trying to say in essence is that there is a way they built their palace in the north, and the moment you see the physical object, you don't need any soothsayer to tell you this may likely belong to an emir. So all of these physical aspects of culture help to define every member's behavior. It is not only your behavior, also your perception. Let's also take, for instance, technology is a very vital aspect of material culture in today's United States. American students, whether they like it or not, must learn to use computers to survive in colleges and businesses. You know, the class we're having now is technological because we're a bit behind. Then we just have to deploy other means of reaching out so we can meet up. So technology is equally one aspect of culture. Then the second dimension of culture is what we call non-material dimension of culture. Non-material dimension of culture implies the refers to the non-physical ideas that people have about their culture. This includes beliefs, values, rules, norms, morals, language, and their social institutions. For instance, the non-material aspect of cultural concept of religion consists of a set of ideas and beliefs about God. Can you see God? But you worship God through morals and ethics. These beliefs then determine how the culture responds to religious issues and events. So, when considering non material culture, sociologists often go further, you know, to refer to several processes that a culture used to shape its members' thoughts, feelings, and behavior. And there are important parts of these symbols. The important part of these symbols include language, values, norms, and beliefs. Please, class, I would like to get feedbacks in case the network is not too okay at your end, please. Class, please, are we together? Okay, fine. Someone, yeah, I know some of you may be having network issues, but be rest assured that even after the class must have ended, you can still go back to revisit what we have done so far. Now, what is now the connection between culture and socialization? Socialization involves a lifelong process that transforms you from a biological organism into a social organism. You know, when a woman is pregnant, the child feeds on the mother. Whatever the mother consumes is what the child consumes. Whatever the child drinks is what the mother drinks, forms part of what the child also drinks. But everything is biological. The child cannot talk, but the child is breathing. Therefore, the child is an organism. But all the processes involved at that point are all biological because the child is connected to the womb. Anywhere you hear the word social, we are referring to the society. That's why I said transformation from a biological organism into a social organism. That implies that the moment a child is born, the child automatically becomes a member of the society. Nothing is biological again. Everything becomes social. Because what keeps the child learning process strong is the social impact, the societal impact. Yeah, Ant said, are we talking about how culture affects our perception of reality? Of course, culture accepts our, because in fact, one of the factors that influences perception and attitude formation is culture. You are a product of where you come from. There is nothing you can do about it. You are a product of wherever you come from. No two ways about it. No two ways about it. You are a product of your society. So, now, what is now the process of socialization? What is the relationship between culture and socialization? You can't get socialized without culture. No way. There is no you can't. Then what process are you going to follow? What are the norms and values that will guide or that will shape your attitude? So you must belong to a particular society. And it is in that society that you socialize. When you migrate from Africa to Asia to Europe to Northern America or anywhere in the world, you begin to get adapted to their way of life. You learn their culture. You are gradually becoming part of that culture. Your ways of behavior, sense of dialogue, and ways of life will reflect that culture. Even if you're going to stay there temporarily, there are norms and values that guide each societies of the world. Class, please, you ask your questions. If you are getting us clearly, you also tell us that you're getting us clearly, please. I quite understand that most people most people are having most people are having network issues. Class, please, if you can hear us, let's get you clearly, please. So, culture and socialization works together, and one cannot work. Excuse me, sorry, I have a question about the material dimension of culture. Does it include traditional materials, e.g., talking drums, right? Yes, of course. Yes. That, in fact, it's a perfect example because those parts of culture are things that you can touch, you can see them, you can undo them. They are physical objects that are constructed. Then someone says, please, are you talking about the basics of human behavior? Well, you can equally link it to that, kind of. You can link it to that, yes, because culture involves shaping our lives. Culture involves shaping our lives. And at every point when we try to shape our lives, we tend to learn a lot. Therefore, it involves basics of human behavior. Someone says, please, what is the topic? We're discussing about the concept of culture. And someone just asked, what is the definition of socialization? I said socialization is a long life process. A long life. You begin to learn from birth till you die. Long life process that involves the transformation from a biological organism into a social organism. You go there inside Bele for 9 months. Everything wey you dey chop inside your mama, na your mama dey chop am. You get mouth, but your mouth no dey work. E get the way you take dey chop inside your mama belle when you carry your belle, wey be say you no understand, na biology. Everything wey you dey do that time, e dey connected to your mama. But the moment your mama born you, magana ya carry, you don become member of the society be that. Everything wey you go come learn go come based on wetin people dey teach you for that society wey you dey. Don't go and write pitching in exam, but I'm just, trying to use every dimension to convey the message in a way that that you understand. Now, there are various concepts to be examined under culture. Number one is cultural relativism. Cultural relativism. Every society of the world has its own culture. And you must be able to analyze different societies of culture objectively without using the values of your own culture to judge the worth of another. Culture is culture everywhere. So, in a nutshell, you can say clearly that cultural relativism refers to a situation where different societies of the world or cultures of the world are examined, explained, analyzed, discussed objectively without using the values, norms, traditions of one culture to judge another culture. Please, are you with me? You cannot possibly understand the actions of people who belong to other culture if you decide to judge them on the basis of your own culture and values. I did not say cultural transformation. I said cultural relativism. Cultural relativism. Someone said, can I re-explain the concept of cultural relativism? Yes. I said cultural relativism refers or involves a situation where different societies of the world or cultures of the world are explained, examined, discussed, analyzed, viewed in an objective manner without using the values of one culture, which is your own culture that you belong to judge the exact worth of another person's culture. And I went further by saying, you cannot at every time possibly understand the actions or behaviors of other people's culture if you judge them based on what you have against them. Therefore, we must be able to interpret behaviors, in the light of their motives, habits, and values. And that is if we are to understand them. So, cultural relativism means that the function and meaning of a trait are relative to its cultural setting. You are a product of your environment. You cannot understand another person's culture more than the person who owns the culture and is deep-rooted in understanding the culture. There is also the concept of cultural diffusion. cultural diffusion. In spite of the fact that inventions and innovations in recent times have occupied a dominant place in cultural growth, and it's been happening for a long period of time. So most of the content of modern cultures appears to have been gained through diffusion. The term diffusion here refers to the borrowing of cultural elements from other societies in contrast to their interdependent invasion within a host society. So, in order for diffusion to be able to operate on a substantial scale, there must be separate societies that have existed long enough to have been enough to have elaborated distinctive ways, not just distinctive ways of life. What is called to when you use your own culture to judge another person's culture, that is called ethnocentrism. You believe in the superiority of your culture, that your culture is far better than that of every other person's culture. And Pete says, will we be able to revisit the class? Of course, you'll be able to revisit the class. The videos will be there. I'm not bringing them down. We we often come online here so that those who miss the class may have the chance to, you know, when it's about 5 minutes for me to round off, we'll take our attendance and I'll tell you how to how to go about it. So after cultural diffusion, we have what we call ethnocentrism. It is very close to the concept of cultural relativity, but it is not the same thing. The word ethno comes from a Greek word which refers to people, nation, or cultural grouping, while centric comes from a Latin word. It refers to the center. So the term ethnocentrism then refers to the tendency, the belief for each society to place its own cultural patterns at the center of things. It is a practice where you compare your own culture to other people's cultural practices, you know, and you just automatically find those other cultural practices to be inferior to yours. It's happening in Nigeria. The Yorubas believe they are better than the Igbos. The Igbos believe they are better than the Hausas. The Hausas believe they are better than the Fulanis. The Thieves believe they are better than the Idomas. The Igalas believe they are better than Ibiras. On and on and on and on and on. That's how it circulates and expands. In this type of case, every culture believes so much in the superiority of their own culture. No other culture is better than theirs. No other culture is better than their own. Theirs is just the best. You don't give room for other culture to be viewed, to be examined on the basis of what they have to offer. Yours is just that your culture remains the best and the best of the best till the end of the world. Like, just ethnocentrism is a universal human reaction that can be found in all known societies of the world and in all groups, and this is a practical reality everywhere. And that is how it is everywhere. Then the opposite of ethnocentrism is xenocentrism. Xeno, like ethno, where the presence for the preference for your own culture is at the top notch. You you have high level of preference for your culture. You feel your culture is just the best, and there is nothing again outside your culture being the best. The preference is top notch, 100%. Therefore, xenocentrism is a situation where you have preference for the lifestyle, products, norms, values, and ideas of someone else's culture rather than your own. Get this clear. Ethnocentrism is a preference for the superiority for the products of your own culture. Your culture is the best. But xeno, the opposite, implies the preference for another person's culture. For example, I'm a Yoruba, Lakunle Oluwaseun, but every time I dress like a Hausa man, wear this cap, wear the one Usman Danfodio clothes or Bayajida clothes, then you stuffs like that. Then we have values. The term value has a meaning in sociology that is both similar to, but at the same time, it is distinct from the meaning assigned to value in everyday speech. Value in sociology does not mean the same thing as a value that people use on a daily basis. In sociological usage, values are groups of, let me say, conceptions of relative desirability of things. Sometimes value means price, but the sociological concept of value is far broader and is neither of the objects being compared to, like relative desirability for things like what? That's not what we are talking about. Then we have acculturation. The term acculturation is used to describe both process of contacts between different cultures, and also the customs of such contacts. So, as the process of contact between culture, acculturation involve either direct social interaction or exposure to other cultures by means of mass media or communication. The styles and the pattern of clothes most of you wear today are gotten or were gotten online. When you want to order for clothes, you place order online. When you see Rihanna wear one particular clothes, you want to wear it. When you see Cardi B wear one, you also the God-fearing Cardi B, you want to wear one. So, as the outcome, in fact, the outcome of such contact, you see, let me just say, acculturation refers to the assimilation by one group of culture, you know, and this most times modifies the existing culture and changes the group identity. So it involves the assimilation by one group of the culture of and another, which modifies existing culture. And then we have culture shock, because times are far ahead of us. We have culture shock. Most of you here must have come across some Gwari women on University of Abuja campus. And when you see them carry log of wood on their shoulders. And I'm very sure that when some of you first saw them, you were shocked. You were like, this elderly woman, where is she getting the strength to carry log of wood on her shoulder? You felt a form of personal disorientation, and that disorientation was psychological. It was psychological. Therefore, you were shocked. That culture you saw, you came in contact with, shocked you because of the feeling of disorientation. You have no orientation of that culture. You were seeing it for the first time and you were shocked. So, that feeling of disorientation or that psychological feeling you may feel when experiencing an unfamiliar way of life, possibly due to immigration or due to some social activities or a visit to a new place or to move between social environments, is what we call culture shock. Class, are we together at all? Please, 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 please. Class, are we together? Hmm. Class, are we together? Now, we equally have counterculture. Counter. Yes, please, if you're in 200 level, I will urge you to come back in about 10, 15 minutes, please. If you're in 200 level, I'm very sorry, please. These are your younger brothers and sisters. Let me attend to them. They need more of this knowledge for now, please. Yes, if you're in 200 level, you can come back exactly 10 let's say exactly 10:20. You can come back if you're in 200 level, exactly 10:20. But to those in year one, let's continue our class. So there is also the concept of counterculture. Counterculture is a sociological term used to describe the values, norms of behavior of a cultural group or subculture. And what do? They run counter to those of the social mainstream of the day. For instance, Gogolala Area Council belongs to the Gwari people. We now have a subgroup of Yorubas. They are subculture because they are a smaller culture within the larger culture. By the time they begin to oppose the social characteristics or the values and norms of behavior of Gwagwalada that is not theirs, but they are rather a subculture here, they are automatically a counterculture. Therefore, counterculture can also be described as a group whose behavior deviates from the social norms and values of the mainstream society. Then we have culture, subculture. A subculture refers to a group of people with a culture in brackets, whether distinct or hidden, which differentiates them from the larger culture to which they belong. I just explained this. Small group of Yoruba people living in Gwagwalada is a subculture because Gwagwalada belongs to the Gwari people. Then we also have what we call cultural diversity. Societies of the world are diverse. We do not have the same norms and values. Although we have certain things that are universal, it is common to every society of the world. Respect is a common thing. Yes, respect is universal. There is no society of the world that does not preach mutual respect. So, cultural diversity is the quality of diverse of different cultures. It is a global phenomenon, or let me what we call a homogenization of culture. It's akin to cultural decay. Cultures of the world are diverse, they are different. So, the phrase of cultural diversity can also refers to having different cultures, respecting each other's differences. So, class, for now, I think we have tried. So we'll have to, for those who may want to come back for the class, the lecture is there permanently, and whatever it is, definitely going to be there. It's not to be brought down. So the videos are there for you to watch. So at any time you feel comfortable to go back, they are there for you. And so people are still asking questions as regards to what and what they do not understand. I'll later on I'll go under the comment section and put and answer the questions appropriately. So, class, thank you very much. I hope I was able to make impact. So, class, this is a weekend. Have fun, relax, eat well, go out, meet new people. So, but do not forget to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Class, do not forget to learn, unlearn, and relearn. For the last time, do not forget to learn, unlearn, and relearn because no one is have the monopoly of knowledge. So whatever you have been taught today, try as much as possible to lay your hands and to lay your hands on other things. Do have a